Please welcome the 2025 to 2026 AERA President, Dr. Maisha T. Wynn, and AERA Executive Director, Dr. Tabby M. Chavez.
Welcome everyone to this special event. Oh, can you hear me now? Here we go. Thank you. Welcome everyone to this special event. We are here today to celebrate the outstanding accomplishments of this year's awardees and to reaffirm our shared commitment to excellence in education research. Thank you all for joining us. I also want to extend a special welcome to the family members and loved ones here today, whose support has contributed so much to the success of our awardees. And I'm delighted to be co-hosting this event with AERA President Maisha Wynn.
Thank you very much, Tabby. And welcome, everyone. This is truly one of the highlights of the annual meeting as we celebrate and honor these remarkable scholars and champions of education research for their accomplishments. Our distinguished award winners inspire us all and exemplify the very best of our field. We also thank everyone who submitted nominations and served on award committees. Before we begin, we would like to take a moment to recognize our sponsors, including our partner-level sponsors, Stanford University, the University of California, Riverside, the Wallace Foundation, Sage Publications, the University of California, Berkeley, and the University of Missouri, St. Louis. We extend our sincere thanks to all our generous supporters. We'd also like to recognize our division and special interest group award winners. AERA divisions and SIG awards a combined total of nearly 500 awardees. If you are the recipient of an AERA division and SIG award, please either raise your hand or stand if you can. We'd like to recognize you. Thank you and congratulations. A complete list of division and SIG award winners will be posted on the AERA website after the conference. And finally, please join us in a moment of silence to honor our association members who have passed away within this year. Thank you.
As we move forward, we do so with deep appreciation for those who came before us, and with a renewed commitment to advancing the field, just as they did in shaping it. I'd like to start with our first award, the Outstanding Book Award. This award is given for the most outstanding book in education research and development. And this award will be presented by Dr. Ebony McGee.
Hello, AERA family. Thank you. The 2026 Outstanding Book Award is presented to Gabrielle Oliveira for her brilliant and moving study, Now We Are Here: Family Migration, Children's Education, and Dreams for a Better Life. And it was a really, really tough decision because all the books were fabulous, but hers really stood out because on the pages of this extraordinary work of ethnographic scholarship, the experiences of children and parents of 16 migrant families from Brazil, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras were probed deeply and memorably. It is an inspiring story of immigration as an act of parental care and investment in their children's future, but also a heartbreaking tale of the quest of being disrupted by the crisis of border detention and family separation. This amazing and courageous piece of scholarship reminds us all that we must protect our most vulnerable, regardless as to where they come from, because now they are here. Congratulations, Gabrielle.
Okay, I'll be fast, I promise. I know I opened a little book, but that's okay. Thank you, President Nguyen, Executive Director Chavos, Dr. McGee for the wonderful introduction, Dr. Cohen as well for your leadership and all the work that you do. I'm so grateful to all the immigrant families that allowed me into their lives, the teachers and educators as well. I'm so thankful to my own family, near and far, in Brazil, my mentors, friends, and colleagues at the Harvard Graduate School of Education. Huge thanks also to Stanford University Press as well as the National Academy of Education, Spencer Foundation, for giving me time and space to do this work. We need more of that. The heart of the book are the children. They play, they learn, they teach, but above all, they resist immigration policies designed to hurt them. May we be able to hear children, learn from them on how education can be a path for both hoping and dreaming a different future. Thank you so much.
The Review of Research Award honors the most outstanding review article in an AERA journal. The award will be presented by Dr. Antonio Ellis. Dr. Ellis has asked that I read the award citation. The 2026 Review of Research Award is presented to Drs. Rebecca Cruz, Catherine Kramarchuk-Bulgaridis, Allison R. Firestone, Logan McDermott, and Zhuwei Fang for their article, "Is Disability a Foregone Conclusion? Research and Policy Solutions to Disproportionality," published in the December 2024 issue of Review of Educational Research. Cruz, Bulgaridis, Firestone, McDermott, and Fang's manuscript is a masterful contribution to the field based on a meta-ethnographic analysis of 88 peer-reviewed studies. The article elucidates the relationship between researchers' assumptions about disability and the policy recommendations they generate, and how these are aligned with the assumptions embedded in federal policy. The authors conclude with recommendations for future research aimed at fostering policy reform that moves beyond medical and deficit models of disability. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you so much. We want to take a minute to thank the editors, our associate editor that shipped the manuscript, Sherman Dorn, for recommending the paper, and of course the anonymous reviewers at Review of Educational Research who really shaped the paper in some really amazing and productive ways. This paper was really an attempt for us to better understand the ableism that is embedded in racial disproportionality conversations. And working on it really opened up a bigger set of questions for us around intelligence, opportunity, the normative ideas that are embedded in schools. And it led to an upcoming book that Dr. Firestone and I have coming out, which I will shamelessly plug for you now. We have a 20% off code. It's at Harvard Ed Press, and it's available for pre-order. Dr. Volgaritas also has a book out if you're interested in that, also at Harvard Ed Press. Thank you so much.
The Palmer O. Johnson Memorial Award is given for the most outstanding research article in an AERA journal. The award will be presented by Dr. Catherine Bradshaw.
The recipients of the 2026 Palmer O. Johnson Memorial Award are Sean Darling Hammond and Eric Ho for their article, "No Matter How You Slice It, Black Students Are Punished More, The Persistence and Pervasiveness of Discipline Disparities," published in AERA Open. This article summarizes a series of complex analyses of national data on exclusionary discipline. The authors leverage new methods of measuring discipline disparities. Their findings provide compelling evidence that no matter how the data are examined, Black students continue to be overrepresented among those punished, despite multiple federal initiatives intended to address this issue. The article concludes with important policy and practice recommendations to reduce the widespread and enduring racial disparities in discipline. Thank you very much. Welcome to the stage. Please come on up, Sean Darling Hammond and Eric Ho.
It is such a great honor to be receiving this award from the American Education Research Association, which is the organization that is fighting tirelessly to ensure that our research and our policies are grounded in the realities facing youth. Speaking of, we want to dedicate this award to the youth and parents, Black youth and parents throughout the country, who face an educational system that continuously punishes and dehumanizes them. And we aspire to be part of the solution, to create an education system that ensures that youth of all backgrounds are celebrated, loved, and provided with the opportunities to thrive that they deserve. Thank you so much.
I'd like to thank AERA for bestowing this honor upon Sean and me. I just wanted to point out that I think that with this paper, even though some of what we've done methodologically doesn't seem overly sophisticated or model-based, I think it points to very important conclusions, and hope that all of you and all of us can continue this important work. Thank you.
The Scholars of Color in Education Award recognizes early career, mid-career, and distinguished career research that significantly impact minority populations or recognize scholars of color making major contributions to education research. These 3 awards will be presented by Dr. Laura Hernandez.
Good afternoon, everyone. Our 2026 Scholars of Color in Education Early Career Contribution Awards recipient is Dr. Terrell R. Morton. Dr. Morton's scholarship sits at the intersection of educational psychology, STEM education, and critical theory, and has advanced interdisciplinary understandings of the educational experiences of Black students and other racially minoritized youth in STEM settings. His research has examined how students' intersectional identities inform engagement in post-secondary STEM education and reimagines how STEM learning environments can center Black joy, resistance, and liberation. Dr. Morton is also a community-engaged scholar and collaborator, demonstrating equity-focused leadership within research and professional organizations, and working across institutions to cultivate empowering STEM learning experiences for minoritized students. Please join me in congratulating our incredible awardee, Dr. Morton.
All right, they told me I had 30 seconds, but I grew up in a Southern Black Baptist church, and 30 seconds is never really 30 seconds. First, I do have to thank God for his continued love, grace, and mercy. I thank my family for their love, support, and prayers. I thank my advisor, Dr. Eileen Parsons, who saw something in me before others did. Thank you, Dr. Jessica DeQueer-Gumby, for your continuous mentorship. Thank you, Dean Catherine Cheval, for your continued investment in me over the years and believing in my work. Thank you, Dean Paula Price, for your continued support and love. To my friends whom I've had the pleasure to collaborate with, Black Epistemologies, Red Network, SOCI, my mentees, the Justice and Joy Squad, colleagues at UIC, I thank you all for enduring me. You are my family. I love you all so much. To the giants whose ideas I built upon, thank you for being my intellectual foundation. I hope my work further advances our collective goal to advance Black liberation. This award represents the collective investments, tears, struggle, laughter, joy, and love of all of my villages. I am because we are.
Okay, so now it is my pleasure to introduce the recipient of the 2026 Scholars of Color in Education Mid-Career Contribution Award. This year, our committee is recognizing Dr. Cesare Warren with this distinct honor. As you know, Dr. Warren is an acclaimed scholar of race and intersectional justice who examines the conditions that facilitate Black students' educational success and well-being in urban schools. His innovative scholarship centers the role of empathy in student-teacher interactions and elevates approaches that can better humanize the educational experiences of Black youth. Through his work, Dr. Warren translates research into actionable insights, developing cutting-edge methodologies, frameworks, and practice-based instruments for strengthening culturally responsive practice. He also engages in community-engaged scholarship, as evidenced by his collaboration with policymakers, practitioners, and researchers via an arts-informed knowledge hub, and his widely viewed TED Talk that extends his research to global audiences. Please join me in honoring this year's deserving awardee, Dr. Warren.
Good afternoon. To God the Father who set a path divine, to Dr. Brown who lent his precious time, to UIC where I learned what mattered most, to all the students who would not let me coast, to my family whose steadfast love humbles me, to my collaborators, research partners, mentors, and friends who see and challenge me. A career like this alone I could not make. My gratitude runs deep, deep, deep. I pray for you all pure goodness and grace. Thank you.
And finally, I have the privilege of introducing the 2026 Scholars of Color in Education Distinguished Career Contribution Award. And this year, our awardee is Dr. William Perez. Another amazing. Dr. Perez's scholarship focuses on the civic and educational experiences of immigrant, undocumented, indigenous, and deported youth in the U.S. and Mexico. His scholarship illuminates how immigration status, biculturalism, and marginalization shape identity development and civic engagement. And through his pioneering work, Dr. Perez challenges deficit narratives and advances frameworks for equitable schooling in K through 22 contexts. His work is also nationally recognized. Dr. Perez's insights have been featured in major media outlets, and he regularly engages policymakers, educators, and community members through judicial advocacy and institutional reform efforts. His distinguished career is further characterized by his extensive mentorship of students of color, first generation, and undocumented scholars, helping to build pathways for the next generation of equity-driven researchers. Please join me in honoring and congratulating this distinguished scholar, Dr. Perez.
Buenas tardes. I would like to dedicate this recognition to my parents, Maria Isabel Perez Maeda and Miguel Angel Perez Paniagua. My mother never had the privilege to set foot in school. My father could only get a third grade education. But yet they did everything within their means to make sure that I was able to achieve one of the highest level of education at one of the most prestigious institutions in the world, Go Cardinals. Mami y papi, muchísimas gracias. Aunque no estén aquí presentes físicamente, quiero que sepan que siempre los llevo en mis pensamientos y en mi corazón. Finally, I'd like to thank my colleagues who nominated me and wrote letters of recommendation and believed in the work that we've done. Buen provecho y muchas gracias.
The Distinguished Contributions to Gender Equity in Education Research Award is given for distinguished research and related activities advancing public understanding of gender and/or sexuality in education. The award will be presented by Dr. Francesca Lopez.
Good afternoon, everyone. The recipient of the 2026 Distinguished Contributions to Gender Equity and Education Research Award is Dr. Lara Perez Faulkner. A nationally respected scholar of higher education and sociology, her research demonstrates how identity and institutional context shape educational opportunity. Across her career, her scholarship has transformed the study of gender equity in STEM, pushing the field beyond the one-size-fits-all frameworks to reveal discipline-specific patterns of participation and inequity, and offering compelling longitudinal evidence of how disparities emerge and compound across STEM pathways. Through sustained field building service, generous mentorship, and leadership that consistently elevates others, she has helped set and continually raise the agenda for what gender equity research and education can and should accomplish. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Perez-Felker.
Thank you so much for this amazing and humbling honor. I'm following my fellow Perez, although not necessarily related, in acknowledging family and history at a time when there is interest in erasing attention to equity and understanding patterns, at disaggregating data to better understand how we continue to have the same patterns reoccur over time in terms of opportunity for college, post-secondary opportunity, and career. That's an area that I continue to dedicate my life's work to focusing on, as many of you do here in this room as well. So my neither grandmother finished elementary school, passed fourth grade. My parents met in college at Columbia University as a veteran and an aspiring STEM person who became an educator as well. My father got kicked out and disciplined for leading protests and Black and brown power movements. My mother continued to be an educator for 30 years in English language learning classrooms and ESL, and I focus on systemic and organizational reasons where we can potentially open further doors, and I encourage you all to continue to be motivated to continue to do this work as well, as we still have quite a lot of work to do. Thank you so much.
The Exemplary Contributions to Practice Engaged Research honors for exemplary research collaborations with practitioners that produce sustained improvements in practice. The award will be presented by Dr. Sarah Wolfen.
Good afternoon. It is an honor and delight to announce Dr. Nicole Patenteri as the recipient of the 2026 Exemplary Contributions to Practice Engaged Research Award. And this award is being given to her for her sustained transformative leadership in advancing research practice partnerships that improve language and literacy outcomes for children and youth. Dr. Patenteri has created and nurtured robust infrastructures that authentically engage educators, families, and community stakeholders as co-creators of research, ensuring that scientific knowledge directly informs both practice and policy. Her work centers on addressing systemic inequities in education, particularly for Black children, children experiencing poverty, and children with disabilities. And this work is distinguished by its rigorous methodology, translational focus, and responsiveness to community needs. Supported by major federal and foundation funding, her research has generated scalable, evidence-based solutions that are now being implemented in schools and communities across the Southeast. Through her visionary leadership, collaborative scholarship, and unwavering commitment to educational equity, Dr. Patenteri exemplifies the highest ideals of practice-engaged research and has produced lasting impact on educational systems and student outcomes, as well as partnership-oriented research. Again, it's my honor and delight to congratulate Dr. Nicole Patenteri.
Thank you so much. I really like to thank the association for this award. This is your reminder to read the emails when they send it to you because you don't know that you have to make remarks. I'd also like to thank my family. My boys are actually, they just got home from school. I live in Florida, and so they just got home from school, and so they're FaceTiming us right now, so I'd like to thank them as well. Shout out to Tyson and Jaden. But I really would like to thank all of the partners who work with us to do this incredible work that we try to do together on behalf of the children and families that we love and that we serve. I learned how to do that from many giants in this room, in fact, who are still standing here with us. I know that I stand on their shoulders. I know that I am bought and paid for, and I know that every day I do the best I can to try to move that forward. And so I'll leave you all with the idea as well. I was talking to my dear friend Janelle about this idea of how we engage and how we move forward in these times and how important it is to move forward. I live in a state that's surrounded by oceans. We are sitting in a room that's very close to an ocean. And we talk, I'm sure many of you have been to an ocean before, not a lake, but an ocean. It's different. I like oceans. And when you walk into the ocean, you notice how when you first walk in, there's a place where there's a drop off. And if you stand in the drop off, it's where the waves crash. And they're continuously crashing on you, right? And you cannot get your feet, right? So you feel like you're constantly being taken over. You feel disheveled. You feel like you can't stand, right? And in this time, in this moment that we're in right now, that is often what it feels like. You feel like you can't get your sea legs. But if you remember when you're in the ocean, all you have to do is take 2 or 3 steps forward and you're out of that crest. There might still be some waves. There might still be some challenges around you, but now you can stand. Now you can see, and now you can be strategic and intentional about how you want to move forward. So I really want to remind us, and I hope it stays with you, that that's our job here, to make sure you stand, you keep moving forward, you get your sea legs, and you keep working and doing the great things we're doing together. Thank you so much.
The Social Justice in Education Award is given for advancing social justice through exemplary education research. The award will be presented by Dr. Janice Talia Ferro-Bazile.
It is with tremendous honor that we recognize Dr. Angela Valenzuela with the 2026 AERA Social Justice in Education Award. For over 3 decades, Dr. Valenzuela has been the unwavering force for the educational justice on behalf of Mexican American and other students of color. The timelessness and timeliness of her work could not be more profound in an era of book bans, dismantled DEI initiatives, and sustained attacks on ethnic studies. She has stood firmly at the front lines, testifying before the Texas legislature, co-founding Black and Brown Dialogues on Policy, and directing the Texas Center for Education Policy. Her groundbreaking work, Subtractive Schooling, U.S. Mexican Youth and the Politics of Caring, remains a foundational text. And from the grassroots work of Academia Kawatli to her national Grow Your Own educator pipeline, Dr. Valenzuela's scholarship lives in community. She is, in every sense, a scholar activist whose life's work is inseparable from the people she serves. Welcome, Dr. Angela Valenzuela.
Thank you so much. I am so deeply honored and grateful to AERA and to the mentors, some like Linda McNeil, David Berliner, and Luis Moll, who have passed, but whose spirit lives on, to fellow colleagues in my nurturing, wonderful Department of Educational Leadership and Policy, to the community surrounding Academia Cuautli, our community-based school, to my husband and partner in crime, Dr. Emilio Zamora, and to our daughters and our grandchildren, and also to our elders, to Martha Cotera, in particular in the Austin community that has really anchored our work in Austin as well as in Texas. I received this award with humility and with a renewed sense of purpose. Thank you for this recognition and for the community we build together. I really like the metaphor that was just shared. I do feel that we are we're in troubled waters. I mean, most definitely, but I have complete confidence that we in the end, we will prevail. The future is ours. Thank you.
The E.F. Lindquist Award recognizes outstanding applied or theoretical research in the field of testing and measurement. It is presented jointly by AERA and ACT. The award will be presented by Dr. Mary Pitoniak.
Good afternoon. The recipient of the 2026 E.F. Lindquist Award is Dr. Michael J. Colin. Thank you. Over his career, Dr. Colin was a driving force in conceptualizing and putting into practice methodologies in the areas of equating, scaling, and linking. Now, these statistical methods that he and his colleague developed are instrumental in helping to ensure the fairness of tests, since they allow for the assembly of tests that reflect test taker ability rather than the version of the test they received. His book with Robert L. Brennan, Test Equating, Scaling, and Linking, is in its third edition and is regarded as the definitive reference in the field. He has used his knowledge and experience to advise many major testing programs, and he's also served as a mentor to numerous students over the years. Dr. Colin has served as the president of the National Council on Measurement and Education and is a fellow of both AERA and the American Psychological Association. So Dr. Colin could not be here, so one of his students, Dr. Ye Tong, will accept for him.
Good afternoon. Dr. Colin cannot be here, so I'm going to accept the award on his behalf. I have his speech I'm going to read. It's a distinct privilege to be selected as the recipient of the annual award associated with E.F. Lindquist, the founder of ACT, the Iowa Tests, and the University of Iowa Measurement and Statistics doctoral program, in which I studied and taught. Lindquist's pioneering philosophy, focusing on the centrality of test content in the development of educational tests, permeated all aspects of my research as a graduate student and my career in general, including my work at ACT. I extend deep appreciation to both AERA and ACT for administering this award. And I give profound thanks to my students and colleagues who sustained me and helped shape my own philosophy of teaching, research, and mentoring. Ultimately, their support and dedication to the field helped shape my life's work and led to the honor of my being selected for this award. Thank you.
The Outstanding Public Communication of Education Research Award honors a scholar who demonstrates excellence in communicating the importance of education research to the public. The award will be presented by Dr. Guwenfen Lee.
The 2026 Outstanding Public Communication of Education Research Award is presented to Dr. Nolan Cabrera. His research on the value of ethnic studies for marginalized youth, and more broadly on examining race and racism in U.S. education, shows a deep commitment to scholarly excellence and public-facing communication. He has assisted as an expert in major litigation, challenging Florida's Stop Woke Act and challenging Arizona's ban on Mexican American studies in Tucson. Working with reporters, he has explained how research applies to important educational issues in venues such as NPR, CNN, NBC, MTV, and USA Today. He has written for broad audiences in venues such as The Washington Post and The Conversation. And his TEDx talk has over 68,000 plays. Dr. Cabrera's work, translating research for judges, lawmakers, mentees, media, parents, and communities, reflects the best of public communication of educational research. Congratulations.
Well, I really appreciate this award. I appreciate my nominators. I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to my dear friend, colleague, and former mentor, Sylvia Hurtado, who helped nurture me as an early grad student and then lovingly kicked me out of the nest, as she says, and let me land over in Arizona. I am eternally grateful to my friends and colleagues at the University of Arizona because in those tumultuous times in the early 2010s, they continually said, and we live by the ethos, that academic freedom and freedom of speech are like a muscle, that if we don't use it, it atrophies. This is a really surreal moment for me and for a lot of us because literally for doing the exact same work, I'm getting an award from AERA, and I'm getting known and called by my president at my university as a problem. Yes, I know, I get it. But I think that this is really important that we continue to take rigorous empirical scholarship and translate it into the public discourse. We are under attack right now as never before, and it's important that we do this to defend what we have strived so hard to get. Most importantly, this is for my son, JC, who drove to school for the first time today, so I'm a nervous papa. He's a good driver, he's a careful kid, and he's a loving little wonderful person. But this is for him as we try to chart equitable education for all of our beautiful students moving forward. Thank you so much. Love you guys.
The Excellence in Media Reporting on Education Research Award is given for excellence by a media professional in increasing public awareness and understanding of education research. The award will be presented by Dr. Lalita Vasudevan.
Good afternoon. The 2026 Excellence in Media Reporting on Education Research Award recipient is Sarah Carr. Carr's reporting over the past 20 years demonstrates excellence in raising awareness, knowledge, and understanding of education research. Her award-winning reporting at multiple dailies in diverse parts of our country, coupled with her award-winning book, Hope Against Hope, on New Orleans schools post-Katrina, are illustrative of her commitment to reporting on contemporary education issues. Carr's work provides an exemplar of reporting grounded in the life experiences of those on whom she reports and is bolstered by her consistent and effective integration of research in her stories. In addition, Carr's work in academia as a visiting scholar at SUNY New Paltz, in her leadership role with the Columbia Journalism School's Teacher Project, and her current role as the director of the Spencer Education Journalism Fellowship at Columbia University illustrates her commitment to training and supporting young reporters in education. Join me in congratulating Sarah, who I believe is on video with us.
As a journalist, I've covered education for over 25 years, everything from the growth in private schools in China to charters in New Orleans. Although I've incorporated education research throughout, I feel like my exchanges with researchers have been especially strong in recent years, as I've reported on disparities in access to reading interventions and the challenge of disability and gifted diagnosis in the early years. These exchanges have strengthened and deepened my work in so many ways. But I could not be more grateful for this honor.
The Felice J. Levine Distinguished Contributions to Mentoring and Research and Leadership Award recognizes outstanding mentoring of students and early career scholars, preparing them to be exemplary researchers and leaders. This award will be presented by Dr. Janelle Scott.
All right, good afternoon. Here we go. So the inaugural 2026 Felice J. Levine Distinguished Contributions to Mentoring in Research and Leadership is presented to Dr. Vivian Gadsden. Sounds like I don't even need to tell you why, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you why. So it's presented to Dr. Gadsden for her sustained excellence in cultivating and supporting education researchers who have made consequential impacts through their scholarship and their leadership. A leading scholar of child and adolescent development, culture, learning, and literacies, Professor Gadsden is an exemplary educator, leader, and mentor who embodies caring as praxis, in the words of one of her nominators, and honors the humanity of each person she encounters. Congratulations, Dr. Gadsden, and thank you for all you have done for the field.
It would be an understatement for me to say anything other than I am extraordinarily honored and humbled. It is also important that Felice J. Levine, for whom this award is named, has been so instrumental in the lives of many young people. I will also say that 3 people behind me are people whom I've known since they started their careers. So how old am I? But I want to just also thank Dr. G. Park at Clark University in Massachusetts, who organized graduate students, former graduate students of mine, as well as others whom I have had a relationship with. And she actually sent me the letter in the fall, at which point I was so overwhelmed that it really didn't matter whether I got an award. It was simply the depth and love and care. And I have been so fortunate to be mentored both by people who were senior to me as well as my peers, and you know who you are. I think Judith is in the audience, and of course the other mentors of Linda Darling Hammond and Carol and Chris and Alfredo. These are my peer mentors. But I am particularly appreciative to my former students, all the people who nominated me to the committee, who took the time to review many applications I know, and to have students and others in whose lives I've been a part, to be doing such extraordinary work. There is no gift, at least for me as a professor, than to see the people whose careers I have watched become such meaningful contributors in the world and in our field. So I want to thank you for the kinds of work that you're doing, your deep commitments, your great allegiances. And in these challenging times, I want to remind you to lead and act with intellect and with humanity, and to go forth and do meaningful and purposeful work. So thank you all for this moment.
The Early Career Award is given for distinguished research accomplishment within 10 years of the doctoral degree. The award will be presented by my colleague, Dr. Alfredo Artiles.
Good afternoon, colleagues and friends. Buenas tardes. The recipient of the 2026 Early Career Award is Professor Katy de los Rios from UC Berkeley. That's what I said. As a leading scholar of language literacy and bilingual youth literacies, De los Rios has built a groundbreaking, innovative program of empirical research on the cognitive, linguistic, and sociocultural consequences of Latinx youth translingual practices. Her theoretically rich work is distinguished by its careful methods and interdisciplinary character. Dr. De los Rios' award-winning scholarship pushes on the edges of translanguaging scholarship as she examines how youth leverage cultural practices across a range of systems, that is, language and literacy, civic education, sociocultural learning, and schooling. Professor De los Rios' scholarship has been recognized by numerous national awards across disciplines, and she has served on consensus committees of the National Academy of Education. She's a prolific scholar whose publications appear in top journals across multiple disciplines. Congratulations, Katy.
Okay, this moment shines a beacon of hope during these very heavy and challenging times. I'm grateful to the awards committee. I honor my parents, Lidia and Miguel, who are here, as this is a result of their unconditional sacrificio and love. To my niños, Tayari and Miguelito, who are also here, este logro es increíble, pero being your mom is my greatest honor. To my husband, Roger, my greatest teacher, your commitment to the people in the city of Oakland is my guiding light. My deepest thanks to Dr. Chris Gutierrez for nominating me. Your mentorship has been life-changing. To Dr. Carol Lee, thank you for your generous letter and your continued support. I dedicate this award to my third letter writer, my beloved PhD advisor, mentor, and friend, Dr. Ernest Morel. Being part of your legacy is a profound gift and honor. You wrote my letter when your health was starting to decline, and I will never forget that. Thank you, Ernest, for allowing me to shine through you in heaven. I need you all to say que viva, okay? Call and response. Que viva Ernest! Thank you, thank you.
The Distinguished Public Service Award honors distinguished public service at the forefront of advancing policies or other efforts to increase recognition and support for education research. This award will be presented by Dr. Elizabeth DeBray.
The recipient of the 2026 Distinguished Public Service Award is Dr. James Luther Moore III. As a member of the executive leadership team at the National Science Foundation, Dr. Moore has served for 4 years as the Assistant Director for the Directorate for STEM Education. During his tenure at NSF, he has provided distinguished leadership and advocacy for STEM projects focusing on K-12 education, undergraduate and graduate education, and workforce development and economic mobility. Dr. Moore's leadership has significantly expanded opportunities for underrepresented and under-resourced communities in STEM education and beyond. AERA hereby recognizes his vision, strategic investments, and transformative partnerships that have set a powerful example of how inclusive policies and purpose-driven leadership can create a more equitable future. Please join me in congratulating him.
Good afternoon. At NSF, we fund people and ideas. And we believe that we have the right people in this room and the right ideas. It's important that we recognize that the power is in your hands. In order for us to get to the new frontier, it's important that you become even more focused and you develop more resolve and tenacity to get us to the new frontier. See, we fund projects that advance scientific inquiry, discovery, and innovation. See, I grew up in the South, and if my grandfather was here, he would say, I'm a son of the South. I was nurtured, developed, and cultivated in his very bosom. As we all know that every person in the United States is not necessarily benefit from all that they could benefit from our educational system. See, at NSF, We live vicariously through you in order for us to realize our noble vision and mission. See, I was shaped by a social service woman who's my mother. And she says, love heals. And you have to love your work so much to get us to that place. I'm not worthy of this award. The people who deserve the award are the public servants that I work with each and every day. Many have endured so much, and words cannot express how much they've endured. So if you're mad at NSF, I'll take it. But don't be mad at the people who serve you. We cannot get to the new frontier. We cannot fund you. There's a 100% chance we won't fund you if you don't submit your proposal. So I thank you. I thank you. Anytime you recognize me, you get to recognize my village in Lyman, South Carolina, but more importantly, my mother. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
The Distinguished Contributions to Research and Education Award recognizes outstanding achievement and extraordinary success in education research. The award will be presented by Dr. Sean Harper.
Good afternoon. It is such an extraordinary privilege to present this award to the one and only Vivian Gaston. What's better than one award, too? I believe Vivian is, in fact, the first in the association's history to win 2 awards in the same year. But let's talk about this one, the 2026 Distinguished Contributions to Research Award. A few moments ago, you got to hear about Vivian, the mentor, the role model, the trendsetter, the supporter, and the nurturer. But it is my pleasure to talk with you about the internationally renowned scholar of child development, family engagement, and educational equity. Dr. Gadsden has reshaped how our field understands the intersections of race, culture, and learning. Her groundbreaking scholarship on family literacy, African American fathers and families, and community-based research has bridged rigorous inquiry with transformative policy and practice. She founded the National Center on Fathers and Families and co-led the Penn Early Education and Family Research Center. An AERA past president, former editor-in-chief of Educational Researcher, and the current vice president of the National Academy of Education. Dr. Gadsden's career exemplifies scholarly excellence, visionary leadership, and an enduring commitment to justice in education and beyond. Please join me in congratulating for a second time the one and only Dr. Vivian Gadsden.
And so we meet again. Have myself a little bit more together this time. Thank you so much, Sean, and my deepest appreciation to the committee, to the AERA leadership and staff, And for those who wrote letters, apparently, to nominate me for this award, my colleagues at the University of Pennsylvania Graduate School of Education and Dean Catherine Strunk, my former students, my current students, and those who have just made this journey so incredible. In January of this year, I retired from the University of Pennsylvania, and I was just reflecting on all of the opportunities. I want to share a little story. In our family, as a child, our parents had stories for each child. And each child had a story that had something to do with what they imagined we could become. Now, as it turns out, I was a professor. The enormity of this award does not go unnoticed in any way. My colleagues, people sitting in this room, have done such enormous and important and incredible work. So I know the importance of this award and the honor. I want to also say, though, that throughout this country, there are millions of young children who enter schools every day with hopes. Their parents have dreams for them. And way too often, those dreams are not realized. And so I want to ask you to join me in the continued fight to make sure that those children have opportunities, that they and their families can build trajectories that demonstrate the power that they have. And that we always look to the power within us to make a difference in the world, to move forward, to think strategically about important things, not just the next thing that we can have access to. And I hope that you share with me the hope for a world that will get better, times that will improve, and a sense of purpose as we move forward. So thank you so much for this award. Sean, are you still here? Sean, left us at Penn. And I've not really forgiven him yet. But I'm working on it, but I'm trying not to achieve it. So anyway, thank you so much for this award. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it.
Now it is my honor to recognize several individuals for their special contributions to the field of education. I'm going to start with presidential citations. I'd like to invite Dr. Sarah Warsower-Friedman to the stage, please. I first met Sarah when I was a master's student at Stanford. I had the great privilege of taking a seminar with her at Berkeley, and that was the beginning of a very special relationship and shared commitment to the field of language, literacy, and culture. Here we are 28 years later, and Sarah continues to serve as my primary advisor as she has walked with me through every stage and phase of my career. She has become family, and I am so grateful to her for her constant gardening. Her citation reads, in recognition of her research contributions to the field of language, literacy, and culture, and to her unwavering commitment to mentoring the next generation of scholars. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Maisha, my former PhD advisee and now my valued colleague. I'm deeply humbled and honored by this award, this presidential citation. After over 40 years on the Berkeley faculty, this citation really belongs not just to me, but to all my students, whose voices are the heartbeat of my research and practice. You're my legacy. As I get older, I think more about legacies. In this moment of global challenge, our work on literacy, civic divisions, and equity could not be more important. Let us continue to use our inquiry to build a more just future for every learner. And let me thank you again, Maisha, for this incredible honor.
I would like to call up Dr. Misha Mosley for my second presidential citation. With Misha Mosley, it was academic love at first sight. We met as graduate students at Berkeley. In many ways, Misha was our real dean. She was responsible for creating the GSE grad school playbook, which was unofficially passed down to each generation of students. Misha never wanted anyone to feel alone in the process and was extremely generous as a scholar. We later served as each other's writing babysitters when it was time to write our dissertations, especially when I would get distracted making mixtapes.
I still have them.
You still have them?
The CDs.
CDs. Sorry, aging ourselves. I feel extremely fortunate to have been in classes where she was developing her ideas and plans for what is now a national organization serving Black teachers throughout the country, the Black Teacher Project. And her citation reads, in recognition of her commitment to cultivating community for Black teachers throughout the United States and bridging educational research and practice. Dr. Misha Mosley.
I love Maisha's like, will you say some words? Now you know. First of all, get comfortable, stay hydrated. No, I got 30 seconds. I want to start by thanking the Creator, who many of us call God, for this moment that we get to be in together. We are here now together. I want to thank my ancestors, including my godfather, who helped raise me and helped me understand the importance of service. My mother, who you all can call Miss Ida, who has sacrificed so much for me to be here. As I think about academia, I want to thank Pedro Noguera, who was my first advisor and who supported me in getting into grad school with questionable GPA and GRE scores. And I mention that so as you all are reviewing applications in the fall, don't let the numbers get you confused. Look at the person. Y'all, she gonna give me the Sandman Sims in a minute. Okay, so I want to thank both my blood and my chosen family. I don't know if y'all know about chosen family, but this is what it looks like. And so, Madam President, Dr. Sister Maisha, thank you for seeing that research must take place both inside and outside of academic spaces. To the Black educators who have guided my work, many of whom are sitting at that table, so I'm a little freaked out, but I'm just gonna breathe. Thank you for all that you've done. For the Black educators who have trusted me to support their work, thank you. And finally, I wanna say
For those of you who are engaged in research about teachers, especially teacher retention, let's expand our notion of what we understand that to be, because folks are choosing to stay in an inequitable system year after year. Our K-12 system is broken and we know this. And so when we think about what it means to be retained, we have to think about what it means to stay inside of that ecosystem and fight for the equity and justice for young people. For those who are engaged in research about Black folks, tell the truth. Tell the truth. And keep your notes on and off the internet so that our history is not erased. Let folks have the archives, the journals. When you're gone, keep those papers here. Black love, y'all. Thank you so much.
Okay. Next, I would like to recognize my program co-chairs. Can I have Professor Mary Helen E. Mordino-Yang, Keisha Green, and Patrick Kamignan come to the stage, please? Well, first I want to thank past President Janelle Scott, who started the tradition of acknowledging the program co-chairs at the luncheon. They put in as much time as the president. So when you see the president doing what they're doing, they cannot do it without their program co-chairs. So I hope we normalize this very important moment to celebrate them. Why are you way back there? You need to be up here. Why are they way back there? And also, Mary Helen actually had a session, so that's okay. In the summer of 2024, I asked Patrick Kamignan, who I call Cam, Keisha, and Mary Helen if they would be willing to serve as my program co-chairs. I could hardly believe my great fortune when they all said yes without hesitation. Program chairs are scholars who are making sacrifices with their own time to deliver a compelling annual meeting. And so I also want to acknowledge their deans who also supported them in doing this work. Collectively, they are a force, but they are truly powerful individuals. Patrick Kamignan, Cam, you have been one of my academic brothers for so long that neither one of us can remember our origin story. And there are so many moments that I recall listening to you talk about your research with young people and their educators in Los Angeles. And I've always admired you for showing up as yourself wherever you are, a hope healer. I wanted you on this journey because I know you are a straight shooter and you would tell me the truth as opposed to just agreeing with all of my ideas. Thank you for challenging me throughout this process and for holding me accountable to our entire AERA community. Thank you, Cam. Keisha Green, who I probably embarrassingly call Keisha Quiche. I had the great fortune of serving as your advisor at Emory University. Keisha, you arrived as a fierce community organizer who had been working with Lyrics on Lockdown at Rikers Island Jail. I admired your work so much. You were the impetus for radically transforming our English education program at Emory University with your beyond schooling, literacy, research, and practice. When I asked you to serve as co-chair, I knew you would not allow me to forget about art, creativity, and wonder as we plan this annual meeting. And I cannot believe my luck that I continue to get to be a part of your life and work. And I'll just read something about Mary Helen. Even though she's not here, you can tell her all the nice things I said about her. Mary Helen and I became friends through the National Academy of Education and because Carol Lee told us we needed to be friends. We started these Zoom dates where we would share our work and dream about collaborating with each other in some capacity, but we were always too busy to actually make it happen. When I imagined this team, I thought about all of the compelling work that was coming out of Mary Helen's Candle Center at USC and how important it would be to have her perspective represented on this team as a neuroscientist. And now we can finally get back to our work together, and I hope that this is just the beginning of our lifelong friendship and work together. So please join me in acknowledging our 2026 program co-chairs. They have things to say to me. They don't want to say anything today. Thank you. All right, well, this concludes our 2026 annual award luncheon. Can we please take time again to give everyone a round of applause? And again, I want to thank the behind-the-scenes work of our AERA staff. They have been working so hard. Thank you. And we hope you're enjoying Los Angeles, and we'll see you at the next event. Thank you.